Good morning. I'm Kathleen Fogarty from the Virginia Beach Public Library, and I'm outside on this chilly and sunny morning. And I'm out here just trying to figure out what I can hear with my ears and learn about the world around me. This morning I just heard a dog barking, and I heard some construction tools in the background. Maybe somebody was using an electric saw. I heard an airplane going over, but what I'm really waiting for is the sound of some of my friends who cheep cheep and peep peep and caw caw. Maybe you might be able to hear one. Can you hear them? One of my very favorite animals, which is birds. And here in Virginia Beach, we have lots and lots of birds in the wintertime. They're in your neighborhood, they're in the city parks, and they're also at the beach. And if you want to become a birder or a bird watcher, you can learn with me, and maybe we will even learn what kind of bird this is. You've heard him before. You might see him and hear him again. So if you'd like to learn with me, come along, little wings. Let's learn together and go birding. So we're inside now, and we're going to start to learn what it means to be a bird watcher. First of all, does anybody know how to become a bird watcher? You just start looking and listening. And maybe sometimes something will make you want to know more about birds. Maybe you came to the library one day and maybe you saw a book about lots and lots of birds, like this one, the National Geographic Kids Bird Guide of North America. Now, this is a book that has lots and lots of pictures of different kinds of birds you might see at the ocean or birds you might see in your own backyard. And it's this wonderful bird guide. But you might have also heard a story about birds, like this one dark bird, which we're going to read in a minute. This is a story about a kind of bird that came to the United States a little bit later. It wasn't a native bird in North America, but it certainly makes lots of patterns in the sky. So maybe you read a story about birds, or maybe you just went outside one day and you heard birds or you saw birds. Now, you don't have to be an expert to become a bird watcher. All you need is to just want to know more about them and want to be present for them. But sometimes an old story will make you curious about a bird too. So there's a story that I know called The Rainbow Crow, and it is a story that comes from the Lenape Indians in Pennsylvania, where the winters are very cold. Well, as Owl would tell the story, one winter was very cold, and all of the animals were very, very cold, and they were hiding under the snow, and they were hiding in caves, and they were just too cold. And the humans had not invented fire yet. Well, we decided we ought to help those other animals. So after inventing fire, I invited all of the animals to help bring fire to the animals on the ground. The only one who stepped up to do that job was Rainbow Crow. Now, back in the day, Rainbow Crow, who we now know as a black animal, this one had lots of different colors, some red and some orange and some green, lots of all the colors of the rainbow. And Rainbow Crow used to have a beautiful song, which we've never heard before because it was so long ago. And so Rainbow Crow said, I will take the fire and I will bring it to all of the people and all of the animals. So Rainbow Crow took the fire in his beak and he flew down to the earth. And as he flew, that fire and the smoke came all over his wings and all over his body. And that fire went into his throat too. The smell of the smoke went into his throat, so that by the time he came back up into the sky, he looked more like this. Now you can see that he still has a little bit of rainbow sheen in his black feathers, his beautiful black feathers. But his voice has changed. And now instead of the beautiful song that we never know what it sounded like, he has a sound like this. Caw, caw, caw. And I was even walking in the woods the other day and I heard this crow. And I looked at that crow and I talked to that crow and that crow talked back to me. Crows are great talkers in the animal world. So Rainbow Crow was willing to go and give his beauty away to help the people. And that's a story from the Lenape people of Pennsylvania. So another story that we have is a wonderful story that is called One Dark Bird. This is a story written by Liz Garton Scanlon and illustrated by Fran Preston Gannon. And this book tells a story about birds who swoop around in numbers. We're going to count in this book from 1 to 10 and back again. One dark bird. One dark bird perched way up high, a view of town and a taste of sky. He's looking at the sunshine. Two birds more come winging by, then three, then four flights multiply. They're over, because they look like they're over a city. Maybe they're over part of Virginia Beach or Norfolk or Chesapeake. Five more swoop around a cloud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Warble, whistle, join the crowd. 6 soar brightly. 7 sweep. 8 will sing the sun to sleep. See, the sun is going down now in the sky. Look at all the people moving around and walking on the sidewalk, having a good afternoon. Then 9, then 10. It's hard to see. They're very tiny. From who knows where, all till startling sounds fill up the air. These birds are called starlings, European starlings. 100 here, and there, and there. Fine feathered friends with sky to spare. But suddenly they're all alert. Danger's near, and flights divert. That means their flights, they move away from each other. That's what divert means. They wheel away from hunting hawk. Single birds become a flock. A group of birds is called a flock. Waves like water, dark then light, from down to up, and then left to right. Look at that big flock of birds. Oh my goodness. A rush, a murmur, out turns in, a dot to dot, a corkscrew spin. Might even call this a murmuration of birds. You hear all their sounds. Flapping fervor, noisy clutch. They dance together without touch. Until it's over, falls apart. Each flies alone, like at the start. Hundreds here and then good night. They fly away with evening's light. And when we used to see the sun, but now we see the moon is in the sky. Till just a few float loose and free. 10 birds settle in a tree. 9 land here, and 8 dive there. 7 swing in still, sweet air. 6 sing softly. 5 just sigh. 4, then 3, then 2. Goodbye. One last bird perched way up high. A view of town and a taste of sky. And look at that beautiful moon. So now that we have had a story about birds and we've had a folk tale about birds, I thought it might be good for us to get an idea of what birds you might see if you go out walking, if you go into the woods or in your backyard or by the beach in Virginia Beach this winter. First of all, let me show you this bird. You've probably seen that one before, right? That's a cardinal, and the bright red one is the male, and the yellowish one is the female. And there they are, sitting on branches. Let's see what other pictures I have. You've probably seen this bird before. That's called a blue jay. And a blue jay is a member of the crow family. And blue jays have a very loud voice. You can usually hear them outside. Look at how pretty their blue feathers are. Another backyard bird you might hear and see is, this one is a pileated woodpecker. He has a red head, red feathers on his head. He has a big beak, and there is a piece of a tree that he has been pecking in. Why does he do that? Not just to make noise. He's looking for grubs and bugs to eat. He's hungry, and that's how he finds his food. So that's a pileated woodpecker. Okay, let's see another one. People think of robins in the springtime, but some of the robins are actually still here. We might see a nice fat-breasted robin there. That's the male, that's the female. And they might even be outside. They might be out in trees near your house. And this is our friend that we talked about before, right? Remember we had the story about rainbow crow? Here he is. Isn't he beautiful? And his wings are so glossy. He's an American crow. Yeah. This is a bird that I saw the other day. I was so surprised to see it because we don't really see them very much, but it was called a grosbeak. This is an evening grosbeak. Isn't it pretty? Look at his little beak. Notice that when you look at a bird, you see a lot about their faces, where the colors are on their bodies. Do they have all one color, many colors? It's kind of what you look at. If you go to the beach, you're probably going to see this bird, a nice gull, a great big gull with black feathers. You will find him at Virginia Beach. And you might also, if you see it have a pond nearby, you might see some mallards. So the daddy has the black or the green head, and the mommy has the brown, feathery, beautiful wings. Yeah. And also, if you're lucky, you might see this bird too. This is a great blue heron. They like tidal waters. They like little inlets where you might see them standing in the morning. With that great big beak, he can go down and catch some fish in the water. Yeah. So when you're going out to bird, you can take some things that can help you, right? So if your eyes can only see a little farther, you might want the help of binoculars. So my friend in the library showed me these binoculars, which are children's binoculars. And when you wear binoculars, you put them up to your eyes and you look out, and hopefully you see something that feels a little closer. It makes the things that you see look closer. Another friend of mine who goes to concerts a lot found this one, so she could sit somewhere far away and see the people that were on the stage. Right. So these are two kinds of binoculars that are real binoculars. But if you don't have binoculars, you can make your own. Here are some binoculars that I made. And these binoculars are made with cardboard tubes. And when I put them up and I look out the binoculars, even though it has two tubes, I see one circle. My eyes make it so that I can see one circle. But I'm going to show you how to make these. If you have your kit with you, you can make it, or if you get your kit, you can make it later. So what did I use? I used two short pieces of cardboard tubes, and these the first thing I'm going to do with these is I'm going to tape them together. So I have some masking tape, and I'm just folding the masking tape over the top, and I'm putting the other part of the masking tape inside. You see how it kind of fits? So they kind of fit together there at the top. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. I'm going to take those pieces of tape, and I'm going to move that one on the bottom. So I have tape on both sides and it holds them together. They look kind of plain, and I could decorate those, but a good way to do that would be to take a piece of paper, a plain piece of paper that you have cut, we've already pre-cut them, and we're going to color something on it, and then we're going to wrap it around. So I'm going to take some of my favorite colors. I'm going to take some purple, and I'm just going to kind of go up and down and up and down and up and down with my purple. And I'm going to make some dots with my green. All right. And I might use a little red too. and move that around as well. So my paper might look like this, or my paper might look like this. Might look like it has flying birds on it. So then I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to attach it with another piece of tape. I'm going to attach it to the side of one of the tubes, and I'm going to wrap it around. Just keep wrapping it around until I get to the end of the tube, and I'm going to roll my tape up into a little roll and stick it in, and then I'm going to push it down on the back, so it kind of looks like this, and then I roll it around. Now if you have more tape at home, you can use more tape if you like. So these are a little bit shorter, kind of like my friends, and these are a little bit longer, like my other friends. So you can decide for yourself if you get longer cardboard tubes. If you want to make them shorter, you can, or if you want to keep them the size they are, you can do that too. So remember, when you get ready to go bird watching, you want to wear clothes that are comfortable, and you want to not wear bright colors out in the woods because it could actually frighten the birds. So they say it's good to wear brown or tan or gray or even olive green, and you can wear a hat. You may want to wear a hat if it's sunny, and sunglasses if you have them, and make sure you have comfortable shoes that you can walk easily in. And in a little while, we're going to go back outside, and we are going to see what we see in Marshview Park. And I'm going to bring my binoculars. Hi, everybody. Here we are. It's still a cold, clear morning, and we're at Marshview Park, and we are here to hopefully find some birds. This is the time of day when people are walking their dogs, and we are hoping to have some quiet time. Now, I brought with me my bag, I brought my gloves and my hat. I also brought the binoculars that we made together. Do you see the binoculars? Those are the binoculars we made. And then I also brought some binoculars from my library friend, Kelsey. She has some little tiny binoculars, so I could use those if I need to. But mostly what I want to do is listen and watch. Watch for a flash of color, listen for voices of birds, see what might be happening this early in the morning. I might also look around and see if there's evidence that the birds have been here. Maybe I'll find some bird poop somewhere on the walk. Maybe I'll find a piece of something that's broken. But anyway, we're just gonna listen to the wind, be in the woods, and wait for birds. Maybe we'll see a bird, maybe we won't, but we're still gonna wait. So let's just hope that we find somebody in the woods. So I'm listening and I'm looking, and I do hear the faint sound of crows from over in that direction, right above me. If I had my binoculars ready, I could just look up and try to track where that sound is and stand very still. The other thing I wonder about is, where are the other birds? Do they have enough food? Do they have shelter? Have they migrated? Are our winter birds still here? Are they in other neighborhoods? These are questions you ask when you become a birder. But little wings, you never know. You might even be in your house one day and you might hear even the sound of an owl. And you might hear it early in the morning. You never know. So birding is an adventure, and I hope you all have a wonderful time. Little wings, have a great time. And I'm Kathleen Fogarty with Virginia Beach Public Library, and I say, get out and look for the birds.